Nearly a year ago to the day, Jim Cantore was kind enough to take my texts about Irma, which was heading towards South Florida. And now, Jim, here we are with yet another very dangerous and powerful Category 4 storm, Florence, bearing down. You're in Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina. The latest models indicate what?
So, unlike with Irma, where we had a little bump and help from Cuba, we don't have that. We just got pure ocean, pure warm water, nothing to really tear this thing apart. So there's no question it's going to come in as a very powerful, destructive, large wind field type hurricane. The big question is, SVP, is where do we go from Friday morning to Saturday night? This could be anywhere from, heck, Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina to Murrells Inlet, South Carolina. I mean, that's what we're playing with in through here. The steering for this essentially just shuts off. So all of a sudden we're left on Friday morning with nothing to move this thing. So it's bouncing off the coast, it's hammering the coast, wind, rain, surge, the whole bit. And then where does it go? What does it do after that? The European, which is more of our more reliable model, which I know you pay attention to, kind of bounces this thing down towards South Carolina and then inland. So either way, it's going to be a slow, agonizing crawl with this, unlike some of the big hurricanes in the past here in the Carolinas that have moved rather quickly. Been strong, real strong, but move rather quickly. This one will not.
Jim, as you know, I understand just enough to be dangerous, but much more so with winter storms than with hurricanes.
Right.
And as I'm trying to make sense of this, it seems like it stalls and then it wants to bog down. And then, as you indicated, it really loses any indication of whether it's going to go north, south, east, or west. Why is that?
It's the steering. I mean, so you have this large entity out there called a hurricane, but it's going to be steered by the main flow. It's usually subtropical ridges or troughs that pick these things up and move them around, but there's nothing. There's nothing there to move it. So it just winds up kind of bouncing off the coast potentially, and the longer it sits there, either it's over the, that's the thing, SVP, does it sit over the water or does it come inland and then stall? If it comes inland and stalls, it has a chance to weaken. But if it sits over the water, it has a chance to kind of keep a little bit of its energy, right? So it just keeps the surge up, it keeps the water up, keeps producing the heavy rainfall, the wind damage, and then it has a chance, again, to kind of bounce inland very, very slowly.
And I made this very clear before we brought you on, but I'll say it again. We view things through the prism of sports on this show. That's clearly not the most important thing.
Nope.
But as it relates to the areas that will be impacted from a sports viewpoint, North Carolina, South Carolina, maybe even as far south, Jim, as Georgia could be in the cone?
I mean, you think about it, you got big games in Columbia, you got big games in Clemson, all right, coming up on Saturday night. These are all things that are going to have to be considered. But again, where is this hurricane at Friday at 2 p.m., at Saturday at 7 a.m., at Saturday at 7 p.m.? We just don't know that now. But it's enough so that because we have so many fans involved, and obviously, you know, their safety is most important, as you just spoke of, we have to plan for that.
Well, we'll be watching you all on the Weather Channel, and I want to say this to our viewers so they know your day began at 3 a.m., and I can't thank you enough for being so gracious to come on and share your expertise with us. Stay safe most of all, and we'll be watching and keeping our fingers crossed.
Thanks, brother. Anytime.